All right. I will see you tomorrow in the morning.
Okay, it's a, did you get it? I can do it.
There we go.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Door open or closed?
Open. That way, if anybody's in the building, could you lock the front door on your way out? Sorry, Jeff, I was late opening, so they're all coming. How did you get in? No, everybody else was stopped. And I didn't even have the gate. Maybe it's timing. There we go. Sorry for being a couple minutes late. I couldn't get off the phone.
That's okay.
No problem.
And I couldn't share my conversation with you guys either.
You're muted, Stephen.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So at 5:35, I'll call the meeting to order, and in attendance, we have Anna Cook, Frank McGinn, Steve Sullivan, and Jeff Quackenbush, and myself, Stephen Dalmas, with Becky Torres in ex officio. So we have some minutes from the 25th to approve, and then from the 15th, well, the 25th of October and the 15th of November. Does anybody have anything to add to the minutes from October the 25th? Will I then hear a motion to accept the minutes from the 25th?
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes from the 25th.
And a second? Okay, roll call vote. Cook,
Aye.
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Sullivan,
Abstain.
Dalmas, aye. Okay, now we have the minutes from November the 15th. Anybody have any additional comments? Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from November the 15th?
I'll make a motion. We accept the minutes.
And I'll second.
Okay.
All right, roll call vote. Cook,
Aye.
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Sullivan,
Abstain.
Dalmas, aye. Okay. So the next item to discuss is a project to construct a pavilion behind the preschool for art projects. Assume, Becky, you can put up the those documents, the plans.
Oh, and here, oh. Is this Nate? Just 1 second. Hey, Nate. Oh, you're still muted.
There it is.
Great. Hi, Nate. I'd like, everyone, this is Nate Mosier. Nate grew up in Shutesbury and is a Shutesbury resident currently. Are you on January Hills Road, Nate?
Pratt Corner Road.
Pratt Corner Road. I'm opening my email to put up your design document. So Nate came to me with a question about, well, he said, I have this idea. I have a, not your idea. Well, you
Right.
received an idea from Grace Gretchy, who is the preschool teacher at the elementary school. And Nate's oldest, Frankie, is in preschool this year. Or is she going into kindergarten?
Preschool.
Preschool. So she's in preschool. So Nate was talking with Grace, and Grace was telling him about her dream to have an outdoor space where the kids could do art. And that a covered pavilion for the preschoolers would be a wonderful thing. And so he asked me if that might be possible, how would he go about doing it? And so I suggested he should start by talking to the select board. He's already had conversations with the principal and with Grace. And so you're his next stop.
The select board or the building committee? He's supposed to talk to.
What is
Um,
this?
And
This
say
is
that
the
again?
building
I
committee.
didn't hear you, Jeff. It cut out.
So the next step, he was supposed to talk to the select board or who?
No.
To us?
Oh, after you guys?
No, you
No.
said select board. You should talk to the select board, but maybe you meant the building
I
committee?
did mean the building committee.
Okay,
Okay, all right.
Select board's after you guys.
They're after us.
So my questions were, is this possible? And what would be the steps to getting it possible?
Well, so
The idea is a small, maybe 12 by 16 or 12 by 24 foot open pavilion. It'll have 8 posts into the ground and a metal covered roof, no walls, no electricity. Pretty simple, straightforward covered structure. And what would the town, is this possible?
uh-huh.
so when Becky sent this, the way I interpreted it was that this is something that you will be responsible for constructing. Is that correct?
Not entirely. I run a sawmill in town, so that's how this conversation got started, was that would I be able to supply wood and possibly build it, but it seems like it would have to be run through a contractor and they would have the say on what gets built and how. I'm really just at this point seeing if it's possible and what steps need to be taken. If it does, I would like to be involved. And that was part of what Grace was saying was, would this be open for volunteers? How much structure would have to be around the building, and or like how much would it be like a company building it as opposed to a community effort getting this built? So no, I don't see myself having taking out a permit and doing all the pushing it through. I'm just a part of it.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is that you would be willing to contribute the materials. Am I correct in that?
Right. And some labor in getting it started for sure.
And Nate has construction experience. Oh, Steve has his
Steve?
hand raised.
Yeah, I
Steve.
saw that.
I
Sorry,
can't see. Oh, there.
Hi.
Hey,
So, as a former school committee member and someone who's worked on volunteer projects in the past, I can tell you that you can no longer do almost any volunteer work of any construction, swing sets, play sets, anything on school property. It needs to be insured, and the people who build it need to be insured. And other than that, it's cool. And my question is, Nate, have you talked to the CPC yet about getting a grant for this?
No, I just was talking with my mother though, and she's like, that would be a really good way to.
Because that's exactly when I first saw this mentioned, that was my first thought, was it should go through them.
Right. I had my uncle is a building inspector. That's where I got this plan from, because it's registered or engineered and stamped and everything. So I was like, this is an official thing. He said it's pretty easy to push through, but getting paid by a town is really difficult because of all the voting or whatever that has to happen. So he's like, if you could run it through like a crowdfunded or donations, it would be a lot easier. Less direct though. So that's what Grace had said would be an option when we started talking about this. What is this day fund?
The CPC, the Community Preservation Committee, have they closed out their grants? Was that last week?
Yep.
Yep.
I think I don't know. There's usually a December date, but it could have been last week. I apologize. I don't know. I'd have to check.
Yeah.
The CPC.
Because that'd be the way to go. That's a great idea, Steve Sullivan. And that's what they're looking for, these type of things. And once if you get the grant, then we can coordinate the construction of it, I guess, is what the buildings committee would do.
Yeah,
I'm not
We could-
convinced we can coordinate it. I mean, I have a feeling because it's sitting on town property, you're gonna need to hire a contractor to at least be in charge of it.
right. It
Or
would
that's what I
have,
meant.
Huh?
yeah, it would have to be run through a contractor with a valid license.
Yeah,
But then-
and because somebody said this is a stamped design, that doesn't mean it's legally stamped design.
No, no, like I couldn't carry it out for sure.
Right,
Can we scroll down in the plans? Is it stamped by like a PE in Massachusetts or stamped by an architect?
I think it is at the very bottom.
Because if I'm reading this right, this was designed for something that was built in Northampton, like been completed.
It looks like yes.
Yeah, the bummer is that besides doing landscaping, there's pretty much not much that volunteers can do anymore around a school. That the company of those two guys that used to build the wooden play structures went out of business or don't participate in Massachusetts anymore because they couldn't do it. They can't use you can't use volunteer help to construct anything.
so it's a Massachusetts stamp, but I can't read it.
Yeah, I kind of know this guy because he volunteered with Habitat for Humanity for a while. So maybe he would volunteer to stamp a new set of drawings for the town,
Ooh,
for the kids. Maybe.
that would be sweet. And maybe you could ask a man.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah.
That would be great. This was just a thing that I had, because I didn't do like a drawing on CAD and bring it to a meeting. Is what I'd like. That this would be like a little bit more of official. Here's
Yeah.
a plan. It doesn't have to be that. That's not something we designed or anything. Just
But if we could get if you could choose what format of that which is the closest, he might stamp it for you, and then you'd have a stamped design that we could give to a contractor.
great.
Right.
And but that would go through the CPC first.
Yeah, for funding. So we
that
could
would-
pay the contractor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how
we-
complete do the plan?
How much
apply
is the
for-
cost?
Well, what is the process though? Like, to apply for the CPC funds, do you need like a fully vetted stamp down to, every bit of hardware design, or can these like graphic images suffice, knowing
I
that you'll have
think-
to do that work
I
later?
think they would suffice, because the CPC part for funding is to get through a town meeting vote.
Okay.
So for the funding only, so and the first request, it's eligibility. So the projects that have been sent in were just verified for eligibility in the first round. And then the second round, they actually submit what the project is. But first is just a brief description where they where they just determine that the funding can apply to this project. And then they would look for more developed out plans in January and February.
All right. So this,
Nate, do you know a contractor that could give you a ballpark to erect this? A licensed contractor?
for the cost, yeah.
Yeah. That's all you need to do to supply this for the CPC is saying if some things are going to be donated, you mentioned that, and then the contractor price to put it up and the cement and all that would be another thing. And then they can be finalized after it gets approved for the second, like Becky said.
All right, so put that package together with this drawing or a somewhat different drawing, and then I'll be ready for the next step.
And Cook, who is on the building committee, she said she would talk to Terrence Reynolds, the engineer, and see
Mhm.
if he might be willing to donate one of these sets of plans to Shutesbury
Terrific.
for us to do it. So we could give it a shot.
Doesn't hurt
This-
to ask.
So the
Moving.
determination of eligibility deadline is December 4th on their website.
So that's Tuesday.
It sounds like we don't need a stamped engineer set for that. Even this could be a
No.
placeholder. Like this
Yeah.
has been stamped, it's likely to be stamped again. We wouldn't need it for Tuesday.
Yeah,
That
So-
an estimate,
right.
basically, right?
You would need the estimate. Well, actually, you just have to write a description of the project and just a ballpark figure for the estimate. It doesn't have to be exact in the first round because what they're looking for is just making sure it qualifies for their funding.
And would that have to be provided by a licensed contractor?
No.
No, you could just write up what you're thinking on a sheet of paper, include some of these illustrations as examples, and submit it.
Great.
Nate, on there, if you go to the Shutesbury website, they have and Shutesbury.org, go to committees and then go to community preservation committee, and right there they have a form, and it's very simple, and it's a project name, application organizer, the address, contact person, email, and the category, open space probably, or community something. I don't know what it'd be, community something, or recreation, maybe under recreation.
Yeah, it'd be,
It-
that's a question. Does it fit under recreation?
Do them both.
yeah.
Where
And
does
so, but it's a very simple thing, and I think just that and a little description. But it's going to be done no later than December 4th.
I'll get right to that. Yeah,
can you tell me again where this is proposed to be placed?
just outside of the preschool and kindergarten classrooms.
Okay.
In this,
Like on the back, kind of where that garden is?
or there's a sandbox and like a climbing structure on the left when you walk out, and then a playground on the right. It'll be in between those. There's
Got
sort
it.
of a sandbox space in there, and then some open space. It would be pretty ideal.
The,
What kind of roof would you propose to put on it? Or is it open, like an open frame thing?
No, it would have a metal roof, I'd imagine. That's what
if I
we had.
remember correctly, Matteo Pangola is the chair of the CPC.
Great.
And he was very helpful. Last year, we started a process which we tabled, and he's very eager to help you if you have any questions filling that form out.
All right. I might need that.
Yeah, it's very simple too. It's only 2 pages. When you look at it, I think it'd be real easy to do. Print up these things. This is what you're proposing, a similar building. You'll get the engineering done. You'll ask a friend approximately what the costs are, and the amount. It says the amount of CPA funds requested. You fill that in, and anticipated other funds, and you might say donations of whatever the timbers are. So you show that you have a good. If the timbers are going to be donated, come up with a figure for that and just say, donation of timbers and then the amount of funds on there. And that might help with the project also.
Great.
And where are you getting, you say you have a mill in Shutesbury, and then is the wood coming from Shutesbury as well?
Yeah.
Cool.
I have a pile of trees I just got that'll be great for projects.
Oh, great. It entails a locally sourced thing too. So that'd be great.
Yeah.
This is how the conversation with Grace went when she came to our house to meet us when our daughter started school, and she's like, really, trees from Shutesbury, cut in Shutesbury. We could use volunteer labor. I know someone who does this and this and this. I was like, yeah, let's try. So this is a really good first step or third step.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, if it
Excellent.
wasn't timbers, I have a CSL, but I can't do them. They won't let me do the math on timbers. So once my wings are clipped in that regard. But if I can be helpful in a different way, I'd be happy to help.
Then you could pull a permit if it was an engineered drawing, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, that would be real helpful. Well then, oh yeah. Because I was saying if we could use volunteers, but we can't.
Yeah.
It would have to be a pretty hands-on contractor job.
But
If you're
not too
looking
big.
If you're looking
Sorry.
for a co-sponsor, Nate, the school committee meets tomorrow night at 7, and the very first thing on the agenda every month is the public comment, and you could ask them to see if they would want to sponsor it.
What does that mean?
The CPC grants ask for town committees and departments to support projects. And the more support a project gets, the more likely it's to pass at funding at town meeting. So
Okay.
school committee would be an easy one and they should be very receptive.
Should I talk to someone, or is it like show up at the Zoom meeting and talk to someone, or say what I have to say?
Yeah, just show up at 7, and by 7:05 they'll be asking for public comment.
All right. Good idea.
Sounds exciting.
Thanks for all this support.
Yeah, thank
Welcome.
So you can
Good luck.
add the highway department to your volunteer, whatever we can do.
All right. Yeah, a loader is always helpful.
You might be able to move the timbers down the street to the school.
Well,
Mhm.
your elm log looks pretty cool there on the sandbox.
Yeah, I went and checked it out. That's a good place for it. And if this does become a thing, it would be how it like matches up with the sandbox and what playground's there. Yeah, that having more logs around the sandbox could be real helpful to separate the two.
Oh, neat. I don't know what you're talking about though,
I've
Nate.
got some ash coming for you to do that.
Yeah. Good.
Sadly, there should be a lot of ash.
Warden.
I could trade you for some hemlock. It might last longer on the ground. Maybe.
Okay, I guess we lost Steve.
All right. I think that was a really good meeting.
He's
Thank you.
cooking. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nate. It's great idea. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. I'll get started on this. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Nate.
Wonderful. Bye.
How to hang up. I don't.
If you highlight the bottom with the cursor, a red button should pop up that says,
Leave meeting.
This is the first Zoom meeting I ever did that wasn't a Thanksgiving celebration. Oh boy, I might have to turn my phone off.
it's all right. You'll find it.
I have a question related to this for Steve Sullivan. One of the school committee meetings, Jeremy is a teacher at Franklin Tech, but he was a carpenter before he started teaching. Is there any, with all the insurance and complication with volunteer labor, is there a path for a tech school to do any carpentry work?
Absolutely. A tech school, they have all the insurances. I mean, they go out and build houses and sell them and then build another one. Yeah, they're a perfect choice for something like this.
Yeah, Nate, if you're still listening, Jeremy on the school committee meeting, he's at Franklin Tech. I think he teaches English or literature, but he was a carpenter before. So maybe, I mean, I'm thinking like way far ahead, but if we're trying to get volunteer and you don't have to pay, contractors like me a bunch of money, that might be a good path to look at tech schools or Smith Voc does a lot of work with Habitat for Humanity. I wonder if that might be another avenue.
We did work with them to do the memorial signs up at, the town common.
Okay,
That was a project that, we worked with the tech school on.
cool.
Cool.
Great. All right, what else is
Nate,
on the?
you're in purgatory. You're not going anywhere, buddy.
You're on the
stuck in
committee
a
now.
Zoom meeting.
You're a new committee member.
Becky, did you get the email I sent this afternoon with the photo?
I did, and
Can you put that up?
I printed it out for the contractor. 1 second, let me put it up.
Oh, did the contractor show up?
Not yet. Okay.
So this is regarding the leak into the elevator shaft at Town Hall. And several weeks ago, Frank and I went out there, and Frank steadied the ladder while I went up and took a close look. And basically the problem, as I see it, is that the flashing, we'll say the step flashing, channels the water right into a vertical section of J channel for the vinyl siding. So in a heavy rain, okay, Becky, if you can take your cursor and go over, keep going right there. Okay. So, and then up on that piece of metal there. So that piece of metal was actually sticking behind the J channel. And I was able to force it out in front of the J channel. And then I applied some, it's Gorilla Glue self-adhering tape, 2 white pieces. So I think now the water will no longer be going behind or into the J channel and behind the siding. It did occur to me that I don't know what the roofer's solution would be, but this will probably still allow the water to run down the siding. And it occurred to me that, well, if the roofer did something where it then, say, pushes the water out further, then there might be a steady stream coming down that could possibly, be on somebody's head. Just having them do something may resolve one problem, but create another. The other thing I noted when I was there, Becky, there were flies coming out from behind the siding. So I remember you talking about all the flies in the building. So my guess is that, the water getting behind the siding, that the flies actually created a nesting site behind the siding, but then there was some small avenue where they were able to then enter into the elevator shaft or the building.
So you think that flies are actually born behind the siding?
Possibly, because the number came out, and I'll say my hope is that by eliminating the water source, it might help eliminate the colony from continuing to habitat that space.
That would be wonderful. And the flies we still have a few, but we don't have as many.
Right. And some of that's probably just the time of year.
Yeah, it's gotten really cold.
So as I said in the email to Becky, it's not the prettiest job, but I had to keep one hand holding me on the ladder while I did this. So it was all done one-handed.
And what is this really ugly stuff down below?
I'm
This.
not really sure. I didn't.
This was there when you got there.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks
It's like decaying something.
right. at another point, it could check that out. Okay, so continuing our discussion of the Shutesbury Elementary School fascia trim and siding. Jeff, do you want to talk about this first?
Okay. What do you want to know?
Well, I'll start off and everybody. So Jeff, Frank, and I met out at the school last week and took the drawings that Gail had provided showing each elevation and the number of board feet of trim and siding that they were recommending that be replaced prior to repainting. And the three of us went around with the drawings and determined what we felt warranted replacement. It seemed to me that in general, if there was peeling, if the paint or stain had come off of a surface, then they suggested that it be replaced. You know, and there are a number of places where maybe something nicked a piece of trim or siding, but the siding or trim was intact. So our feeling, I guess, our approach is much more conservative than theirs. We would have to take the drawings and, I mean, I made notes on all the drawings, but would need to spend a little more time and figure out how much we want replaced. The only area where we feel that there's a significant need for replacement of trim is on the south side of the building. We felt that all the green stained trim on the, are there 4 bays or bump outs? I think there are 4 bays or bump outs on those and along the entire base. And then the vertical sections at each set of entry-exit doors, but only on the south face, not as you turn into the covered area. And then there's also a green trim board that is sort of above the windows, runs horizontally, that's in the same plane as the siding. We didn't feel that that needed to be replaced. And then, you know, going around the building, there are, you know, places here and there where some trim, occasionally a piece of siding. So I think what Jeff was suggesting is that, I don't know if we get Gail to come back out and we go over this with them and point out what we are interested in having replaced, or if we redo the drawings that describes what we want replaced and get them to Gail, and then have them give us a new estimate of the cost, and I guess also their cost.
So what I did after our meeting, going out there, is I went back to Gail's cost estimate. And so they said base, and the cost estimate, they had base bid option 1 siding and trim repair, and they listed $241,000.
Right.
And I think, and I made just a swag at this, and I'm thinking it's more like $75,000, just based on area.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know, I can't defend that number. It's just a feel. But then we also would want to go with cladding option number 1 or 2, which is still worth like 65,000. So I'm viewing it's probably about $150,000 project. Does that feel right to anybody or everybody?
I trust your numbers.
Does their estimate, I remember, I think this was a question, does their also include the restaining or repainting?
If you, yeah, if you, the $251,000
Mm-hmm.
base bid option, it says paint all trim and wood siding
Okay.
is the number. So I'm assuming it does. So I'm kind of thinking a couple things, and I'm getting dangerous here. I'm thinking that we should ask Cole to come back out and show him, the document that you have where we marked up what we really want done. And then ask Gail to revise their numbers for their service. But I don't think their bids or their proposal is going to go down a lot. But it should go down somewhat. But I'm wondering if, just throwing this out as a crazy idea, their contract, their proposal for their design fee. Let's see, where the heck is it?
It was like 60 some thousand
52.
total.
Yeah.
Yeah, I printed it out again. It's total of 78,500. And they've got in there, we've already paid them for the evaluation service. That was 9,000 or 10,000. So they have design services, 22,700. Maybe that'll come down to 20. And then they have a bid phase, 4,600. And then they have construction phase service. What if we skip the construction phase service and we, the committee, handle monitoring during construction and save that 27,000?
I love it.
You still have this.
Well, I think that we can do that. If you remember when the first time I went out to take a look at the progress of the new roof, I was pretty surprised by how poorly the nailing pattern was being done. I mean, nails were not being driven flush, they were driven at an angle. And, that was the first time that was brought up. And I feel that that's a very important element that you never see. And hopefully, it won't come back to bite us on the roof in the long term, because in my home inspection experience, I saw many roofs as they age where nails that weren't set properly, driven at an angle, punctured through the shingles. So I think that we can do this. And if the three of us or four of us or five of us can go out there regularly and carefully look.
I still believe we need to hire Gail to put together a bid package and technical specs
I agree.
so that we know what the heck to look at, and also for people to bid. And because I'm crazy enough, I also went and read back over Mass General Law, Chapter 30, Section 39M.
Oh,
I'm sure Becky reads every night before she goes to bed.
not every night, but
Okay, every other night. All right. Which talks about how you have to bid public work and the different cost thresholds And from what I'm reading, at the 150,000 plus level, we need to get a professional to put a bid package together anyways.
Yeah.
And once you get above 150,000, they kick you over to chapter 149. And all the excitement of that makes life really interesting. So I still believe we should hire Gail to put a package together and help me bid this thing, and then we'll take it over once we get a contractor on board.
So Gale's, we would use about 52,000 or 50,000 of Gale's services potentially.
And I gotta get,
Because you said it was 78.5 total.
And we've already spent, was it 9, Becky?
Yeah,
98.
but I'm including the 98. That'll be, we're
Yeah.
just subtracting the 27. So we'll
Well,
be at
take-
51.5.
Take out 27,400 and 3,800 because they've got
Okay.
closeout document phase 3,800.
Okay, and that's closeout documents.
So 31.2, right?
Yep. So it'll be 47,300.
26, 22, 26, 36. What'd you say it's gonna be?
47,300.
No,
Now I get 36.5.
so it's 9,800 plus
Which-
22,700 plus 4,600,
Oh, did you say 22 or 27?
22,700
Oh, I wrote it wrong.
I
for
got
design service.
27. I thought you said 27,400.
Yeah, okay, so I heard that too.
Yeah, I did too.
That's how much we would save for the construction phase.
Wait a minute, what's the construction phase? Is that 27.4?
Okay, here, we're gonna start from the beginning again. For the evaluation service, which we've already done, that's 9,800. For the design services, that's 22,700.
Yeah.
For the bid phase service, 4,600. So it's like 37,000.
Well, what's, and the construction phase?
Well, we don't want the construction phase. We're gonna do that.
Right, but that was the 27.4.
That's
So
the,
the figure I gave you just included the 10,000 that we did for the evaluation. I was just giving the total amount. Because we've already paid that, but in total to Gale, we'll pay $47,300.
nope. I think it's more like 37,000. And change.
Okay,
So it's 9,800 plus 22,700 plus 4,600. What's that add up to?
the 30, wait, so it's 27 plus the
22.7 plus how much more, Jeff?
9,800 plus 22,700 plus 4,600.
37.100. Total expense to Gale.
So it's around that number.
Okay. But we only subtracted,
We've already spent the 9,800, but including that in, the total expense to Gale would be 37.1.
I'm sorry, because I was using, never mind. I was subtracting from the 78,500 and we're missing, and somehow that doesn't work.
Well, I sort of see, so I did the same. So subtracting the 9,800 from the 78,500, I got 67,700. And then we would subtract the 27,400 and the 3,800
Okay.
from, right?
All right, here's why my numbers are goofy. Because I didn't put in there the reimbursables. I put in Gail's fee.
Oh, okay, that's the
Okay.
difference.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. But these are all numbers that Gail wants, we would ask Gail to revise anyways, based on a reduced scope.
Yeah.
So these aren't final numbers anyways.
So the amount for Gale is on top of the 150,000 for construction, right?
Yeah,
And how much do we have left over from the roof project?
I think it's about 134,000, I think.
So then we'll need to, before the project, the actual physical project would begin. I mean, we have the money to have Gail continue, but before we could hire a contractor, we'd have to go to town meeting.
Yes, and there's a special town meeting coming right up, and if we can get on the warrant on Tuesday, we can ask for exactly what we need. So what exactly do we need?
well, we're not gonna be able to get that by Tuesday. Because we
I
need
mean,
Gail.
just for Gale, just for
Oh.
Gale.
Yeah, but we need Gail to
And
come
that's,
back up and get us a revised number.
okay,
They haven't seen the markup that we did.
Yeah, we have to have a meeting with Cole at the site.
Mhm. Cole or Musso.
Okay.
But all in all, in the general consensus, I think, is to feel that we're probably gonna need between 15 and 25,000 more dollars to finish the fascia above what we have left over from the roof.
yeah, so we just need, we could put in a warrant article requesting, knowing that Gail's gonna come in a bit lower, but if we know, I mean, right now you just backed into the very top of what they could be. And we're assuming they'll come down, but we could ask for that amount and then just return if it's a couple $1,000s less or $5, we just use it for something else.
Okay,
And you would take care of writing that warrant,
Yeah.
Becky?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think you know better than we do on that.
Yes.
Is there anybody who might be able to come to the select board meeting just to speak to the warrant article?
When is that?
It's on Tuesday. I'll send you the time. It's around 6:20.
We have this coming Tuesday.
Yeah.
We have library building committee meeting at 7,
yeah,
if I remember correctly.
yeah, and it's gonna go long.
Well, you have to warm up the Zoom anyway.
It's at 6:20, so you've got 40 minutes of talking you could do.
Well, you'd probably do about a minute of talking
Right.
tops, but I can explain it too.
I can explain it if they need a buildings committee person too, if they're busy.
Okay. Sounds good.
And that's the 5th.
Yes.
May I'd recommend that you guys on the committee, you all folks on the committee, just go online and read chapter 30, section 39M,
Chapter 30, section,
39M,
uh,
right there,
of,
and chapter 149, section 44A,
I have a chapter 1,
49, 44A.
4A.
Yeah, these are the rules we gotta Because it's public money, these are the rules you gotta follow.
And what is this that we're going to look at? What's the heading?
It's
MGL.
Mass General Law.
That's all I need to, Mass General Law?
Yeah, just MGL. It'll come up.
Yeah, MGL, yeah. You can get to it just by going through Google.
Yeah, okay.
And it gives you the different thresholds of money you're spending and what you gotta do.
And it helps you fall asleep if you're having a
Tough time falling asleep.
brain day.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was wondering if we should have a motion and vote that we will skip the construction phase of the scale proposal, and that we will, as a committee, perform that component.
Okay, how do you want to phrase that since you brought it up?
Well, can I make the proposal?
Sure.
It'll
Sure.
just say so moved when you finish talking.
Okay. I propose that the Shutesbury Building Committee assume the responsibility for the construction phase of the project to replace siding and trim at the Shutesbury Elementary School prior to painting.
No, how about construction phase monitoring, not the construction phase?
Okay,
I'm not building anything.
okay. Construction phase monitoring.
Okay,
And then was
And then
it,
say so moved.
So moved?
didn't
see.
you also want to delete the 3,800? What was that? The service? What was the 3,800?
The final service.
that was the
Closeout service.
yeah, closeout service. Closeout documentation.
And the closeout documentation.
Perfect.
I second it.
All in favor, Cook,
Aye.
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
I
Sullivan,
Aye.
Dalmas, aye. Okay. So the roof leak at the Spear Library. I don't know if anybody else has at this point tried to search out a roofer. I actually got in touch with Russ Wilson, and Russ responded, "Oh, Becky should have the name of the roofer that replaced the slate roof on the front of the library years ago."
So we start over at the same place.
Right.
That's
So
like him.
okay, so I did some work on it.
okay.
Oh, great.
So I found Mr. Mitchell Hawkins is a slate roofing contractor, and he's located in Deerfield, Massachusetts. And he went out and inspected the roof on Sunday. And when the weather gets a little bit nicer, and he's got a few projects he's working on right now, but he said he can do a better inspection. He thought the roof was overall looked in pretty good shape.
Oh.
But he could do the some flashing repair for us and try to find out where the leaks are. And that's what he does for a living.
Yeah.
So his name is Mitchell Hawkins.
Mhm.
You have a
Mitchell
phone
Hawkins,
number?
Slate Roof, yep, 413-374-8161. And he's licensed and he's insured and all that other good stuff, and he's done other government work.
And does he have a crew or is he independent?
I think he's independent.
That's just him.
It's
He's got his own company.
So I don't have to worry about the wage issues.
Right.
Where he brings in people and they don't get paid prevailing wage.
So when the weather gets a little bit better and also he gets through some of the projects he's got, he's gonna contact us, and he'd like to go meet and look at where the leaks are coming from with this and figure out how best to proceed.
Yeah, I would be glad to take him into the attic and show him exactly.
Exactly.
where-
Yeah.
I like Mitch a lot.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
And have you told Mary Ann? Jeff?
No.
Okay, I'll take, because she asks me every day if I found a roofer yet, so I'm gonna send her his information.
Yeah,
And
Mitch
let her know
happens.
that you've been working with him.
Okay.
Okay, see, it's just about 6:30. I have a appointment in 15 minutes, so I need to do a few things. So I would like somebody to motion that we close the meeting.
I motion that we close the meeting.
Oh, one thing before.
Ah.
So do we need to touch base with Cole and arrange a meeting at the school to go over the drawings and show him exactly what we want to be?
Yeah, I'll give him a call.
Okay, Thank you.
I'll call him tomorrow or Friday.
okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
so do we have a
Second.
Frank's motion?
Second.
And you'll let
Motion.
everybody know when the meeting's gonna be.
With Cole, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, roll call vote. Cook,
I
Ginn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Sullivan,
Aye.
Almasai. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
That was pretty productive tonight.
Oh, when's the next meeting?
In 2 weeks. And, in the past, we've had a couple of occasions where I think one meeting we didn't have a quorum. So I just pushed it back 1 week. And then there was another one, I forget what happened. I just pushed it back a week. And I think Anna's schedule is often pretty well defined into the future. So, and then that messes with her schedule. So she had to miss a few meetings. So my suggestion is that in the future, if we have to miss a meeting, maybe we just skip 2 weeks ahead and not just go 1 week, because then Anna may not be able to attend. We can talk about that next time, but that's a thought. Thank you, everyone. See you in
Thank
2
you.
thanks.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody. Good night.
Good
Good night.
night.